When it comes to freedom and fitness in British Columbia, many have had their eyes on Iron Energy Gym in Kelowna. And recently, that gym has had their doors close. But in this interview, I interview Brian and Kirsten Mark, who are going to explain how the fight isn't over and the measures they've had to take to make sure that's so. Drea Humphrey here with Rebel News, and you'd think if public health was so concerned with public health, they'd encourage fitness, even give unvaccinated a free pass. After all, they say it's unvaccinated people who fill the hospitals and put the hospitals at risk for having no beds, and predominantly people who end up in the hospital with COVID-19 or die from COVID-19 are overweight. So it just makes sense. Yet here we are with gyms like Iron Energy Gym not being responsible for outbreaks, being in trouble for wanting to offer an avenue to health for all people in British Columbia. And if you want to scratch your head any harder, you can look at how other provinces are dropping vaccine passports. And Dr. Henry says ours will continue at least until the end of June. And she's even adding more restrictions on healthcare workers. So how does that work out? Maybe it's because Dr. Henry believes that BC has its own unique pandemic to the world.
And I want you to know that the changes that will be made will be continued to be based on the science, the circumstances of our pandemic here in British Columbia, and a direct result of the millions of people in BC who have done and continue to do everything they can to protect themselves, their neighbors, their communities. And that's how we will get through this.
Brian, Kirsten, good to see you again. Still in the midst of the fight for you guys. Yep. And we're doing this interview to get an update on what's happened since you guys took that epic stand against the vaccine passports. So tell us the sort of first thing that happened after that.
It's crazy because I don't think I've talked about it since, I don't think we've had like an interview about it. It's been like we've been just busy, but so basically once we got the gym open again, we wanted to be all inclusive and we wanted to keep it open for everyone. And so Operation Greenlight got the gyms open, and we just didn't feel right about like turning some of the gym members away and having it open for some people. And so we decided to be all inclusive. We also wanted to get loud because I think that a lot of businesses in British Columbia are, silently defiant, and they're silently, letting people in, et cetera. But I don't really think that that's a cause of social change.
Yeah.
And I think that that's what we needed is we needed a social change.
I was going to say the exact same thing. I think that like staying silent is good for the members of your community, but for everyone as a whole, like we have to speak up or we're not heard.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think you guys have a valid point there. And I know there are lots of people letting people in without the pass, but, how are, let's say, even politicians supposed to know it's a big issue if no one's complaining about it? That's just one example of the thing. So you guys took that stand, and then my understanding is maybe not all of the owners were in agreement with that, or tell us what happened.
Yeah, so we actually took the stand and we all were on board. And then, we were getting, we got fines from Interior Health. And then out of nowhere, we got subpoenaed. We got dropped off a 48-hour court date. And you could tell by the size of this binder that they'd been building that court date for, 2 weeks.
Yeah, easy.
And they rush ordered it on the premise that we were an immediate risk to public health.
Oh, goodness. Yeah.
Without any sort of, valid data to back the argument. And so for us, we went into the court. I actually went into the court date pretty confident because I thought that, we would get a chance for natural justice. Like I thought that I wanted to go in there and basically be like, hey, I understand where, they're coming from, but like, I need a chance to be able to prepare my opinion instead of having a one-sided narrative. But unfortunately we didn't get that, and we did get closed. And so that happened a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I thought the same as you. I thought that we actually had like a shot. I mean, you don't know who the judge is going to be. And I believe in Brian, like more than I think I believe in any human, because he just follows through on everything he says he's going to do. So I was like, we got this. And then we were very disappointed.
Yeah.
For sure. And so it happened so quick. You didn't even have time to prepare for it, but that wasn't a reason enough. Now, the accusation that you're an immediate health risk, historically in the last 2 years with COVID-19, have there been any outbreaks associated with your gym? were you guys still using measures after you were taking this stand, or?
Yeah, so we actually we're a super clean gym. Like we have every one of our members that comes into the front door has to grab a cloth and a spray bottle, has to wipe down every single piece of equipment. We've still got our equipment spaced out from the first ask that Interior Health had of us. And so we are doing our part in terms of spacing out the gym equipment. So I don't really see the argument of the immediate health danger, but again, we didn't really get a chance to say that. And so what we're doing, what we're doing right now is we are preparing our own side, and we just have to slowly go through the process because they built it over 2 weeks. And so we can't unfortunately respond in 48 hours.
Right. So you're closed right now. And then what was the culture like at your work after getting hit with the closure notice?
It was hard. It was really hard. I think that Iron Energy, I think that everybody that comes to Iron Energy comes there because it felt, for me, it felt like the one place that I could be safe. I felt like it was the one place where I just felt normal.
No, I was just going to say that. It was such a breath of fresh air because realistically, all we do is wake up, we go to the gym, and we're at home and we're working. So it was the most normal I'd felt in so long. And when it got shut down, I know along with all of our members, we were I was devastated. I just felt like an empty part. And I just lost a little bit of faith in Canada. I was I am so disappointed. And yeah, I was just really, really devastated, really disappointed. And we sat in that for a couple days.
And so the owners and I, all of us have an incredible amount of love for the gym. And there was just a couple of the owners wanted to go in a different direction. And so Kirsten and I and my business partner, Cole, decided that we wanted to kind of take on Iron Energy because we're super passionate about it. And so that's what we did. So right now we are in the transition phase where Kirsten and I are taking over a large percentage of the shares, and we're just going to continue to operate the gym.
Wow. And so continuing operating the gym, now you're having, I guess, majority shares. Does that mean continuing the fight as well? However long these mandates are going to be impeding on how you serve your community?
Yeah, so I'll be fully transparent. We are going to do everything in our power to fight and stay open for everyone. And also understanding that the hard cost of just turning the key of the gym is $36,000 a month. And so I'm willing to eat that because I do believe that what we're doing is right. And I do believe that everyone should be included. And there's a lot of data that's coming out right now that supports the fact that, the jab doesn't help with the transmission, and the masks aren't really effective. And so I do believe in what we're standing for right now. And so I'm going to stand for as long as I possibly can. And also ask for support from the community because I'm only one person and we're going to do it.
Family.
But we got a family to feed, but I believe in what we're doing so much. And I believe in Canada.
Yes.
And I know that it's hard right now for everyone to kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel. But I do think that the one thing that this has really done for Canadians is brought people together. Even, when we go downtown in Kelowna, there's every Saturday, there's a bunch of people with Canadian flags.
Yeah.
And I just think it's so cool that there's members of the community that are really banding together and standing together.
Yeah.
And I just I'm just going to invite some more people to be courageous enough to say something because I think that everybody's banding together, but few people are afraid to speak up. And so for us, we just want to continue to stand and continue to speak our voice. And yes, they took our gym, but they didn't take our ability to communicate. And so I just want to continue to communicate with the world and share with people why we're standing up and why we're trying to stay all inclusive for everybody. And I'm not trying to make an enemy out of anybody. I'm not trying to choose one side or the other. I just want to be open for everyone. And that's kind of the message that we want to communicate.
What does it feel like seeing the other provinces, get rid of their vaccine passports? And then we have our province, which is almost going in the other way. If you look at the healthcare mandate that is coming out March 24th, that's more restrictions. So what's it like for you guys as business owners with that are trying to fight for freedom in this area?
Frustrating.
Very frustrating.
So frustrating.
I'm the province next door is at do they have different scientists than we do? Is there different, does the transmission affect them differently in the air over there? It is super confusing and it is very frustrating. And I almost, it's frustrating for lack of a better word. And I just, I want to continue to share that.
It's frustrating and it doesn't make any, it's so crazy to me that my 13-year-old daughter can understand that this no longer makes sense. And somehow we're still in this situation. It makes no sense. So it's if there's a better word than frustrating, I would use it.
Yeah.
It is I don't know.
And I think that's why we wanted to stay open. Is like, again, I'm not trying to make an enemy out of our government or our province, but like, I want everyone to be able to exercise. And if we've been at this for so long that there's been so many people that have been alienated because of the decisions that they've made. And people like meant to feel like they're like damaging the community because they're not making certain decisions, but it's like, that's proven not to be a thing. So like, why are we still pushing people away? Like, I don't really understand that. And so I want to continue to fight for that.
In a recent poll, I believe it was the Vancouver Sun, I'll put it up here. They asked, just British Columbians, when do you think we should see an end to the mandates in BC? And the vast majority of them said it should have already happened. So you guys are really the voice of thousands of people here. What about a legal loophole? I know you guys had a lawyer that was helping you. Have you come across some of the ways that restaurants have been able to not have passports but still be open? Is there anything like that for you guys in the gym sector?
I think that I'm not sure. So our lawyer is working on it. And I think that because it comes from the Supreme Court and with all the stuff that happened in Ottawa, that really is what caused us to back off from our like aggressive stance. Watching, protesters getting thrown in jail and denied bail and their bank accounts frozen. We were like, whoa, like that is a risk that we are not willing to take. I'm like, I'm willing to like stand and bark, but like that was just like too much for us. So we're trying to do everything by the books, I guess now, because the way that we were operating before wasn't really. We have to play smart. And we have a daughter. I have a 13-year-old daughter, and we have a life that we want to create. So yes, I want to fight for the community, but I'm not willing to go to jail for that. So.
And we've worked hard. Like we've worked really hard to get to where we are right now. And like there's certain things that we're willing to risk, and there's certain things that would be absolutely crazy for us to risk. So we're not the type of people to back down when we face adversity, but we are going to make sure that we're being strategic with what we're doing versus just like, wow, we're so angry, because obviously like that's how we feel. But we got to play it. We have to play it smart.
Well, I don't think anybody can fault you guys for that. You guys have been fighting the good fight very hard when a lot of people have been silent. So how can people, if they want to get behind you, I know there was a GoFundMe. Is that still the best place to go? Or have you guys figured out something else if people are interested in finding out more and maybe helping you out as well?
Well, I appreciate you for asking. That means a lot. We actually did a give, send, go because of all the shenanigans that happened with GoFundMe in Canada. We figured that wasn't the best move. And so if you're behind what we're doing and you want to stand up for Canadian freedoms and you want to stand up for all inclusivity and you like our message, Iron Energy Gym, in our bio, there is a link. You guys can donate to the solo, or there's like a solo, and then you can donate to the give, send, go. We would appreciate it. Like we don't expect anything. And even when we took over the shares, we knew that like this was the risk that we were taking on, and we were
ourselves,
and we were willing to take it on. But like, if the community wants to help, we appreciate it. It means a lot to us.
Yeah.
Well, we'll go ahead and link that in the written report found at rebelnews.com, and you guys can share that report too to get the word out. What message do you have for British Columbians at this point in time who, maybe support what you're saying, but still haven't even, done a Facebook post to let people know that they're ready to be free?
I think that for the last 2 years, myself included, I was just hoping for it to be over.
Me too.
I was just like, maybe this, maybe this announcement, it'll be over. Maybe this announcement, it'll be over. Maybe it'll be over. And I think that because we've been sitting here and we've been waiting for it to be over for so long, we got ourselves in the situation where we realized that we actually have a lot less freedoms than we thought we did. And if that statement is alarming, just like look at what happened in Ottawa. Look at what happened to us. Like we're like a gym that's open for physical and mental health. And we got shut down with a Supreme Court order because we were letting members work out. Like we really don't have a lot of our freedoms right now. And I think that it's important that people stand up and claim some of them back and start asking questions. I've been doing a lot of calls to actions to email MLAs, like email city council, email your mayor, because it's like, it's crazy to me that I'm a business owner, like I'm a gym owner and I'm the only one willing to speak up. Like, where did our leaders go in politics? Like I'm talking about leaders that actually have an opinion that goes against the narrative of what everyone is saying. Like, where are the leaders that are standing up and actually speaking for their constituents? And so like my invitation is to reach out to those people and ask them to speak up. Like, why do we have to be like, why do the business owners have to take the blunt of this force? Like I do believe that this should be the politicians that we elect speaking for the constituents, not like the constituents yelling at the politicians just to get like, a little bit of acknowledgement.
Well, I wish you guys the best, and we'll be following this story closely as we have been. So keep in touch if there's anything the public needs to know about what's going on. And thank you guys so much. Now, Iron Energy Gym isn't the only gym to have taken a stand for freedom in Canada, and it's not the only one to have its doors closed. Just one other example is one of our Fight the Fines clients, Shane Miller. We helped him and his family with fighting their fines after they threw a birthday party for 2 kids in their family, God forbid, in Quebec. And now he's been served with a closure notice as well in mid-January. But he's fighting back. He's doing a challenge. I'll link about that in the written report to keep you informed on that. But today we're going to hear from Brian and Kirsten Mark about a sacrifice they've taken to continue to take a stand in the most reasonable way they can while still providing for their child. And before I do so, if you appreciate that at Rebel News, we bring you the other side of the story. We don't cut and paste what people say and speak over it to make it fit into a narrative. We let you hear their full sentences so that you know what people actually want to tell you. Then you can consider donating to help support our independent journalism that brings you the other side of the story. We don't take a penny from the federal government's media bailout. We rely on you and your donations. So if you'd like to support us, please do so by donating at rebelnews.com/donate. We appreciate your support, and here are the marks. If you don't know already, Rebel News has partnered with the Democracy Fund to help them take on over 20 vaccine-related cases, including challenging the BC government's vaccine passport. If you want to be a part of that and help us to fight for legal precedent to avoid some of the egregious things that have happened to human rights in the name of COVID-19, please donate what you can at fightvaccinepassports.com.